Hey guys, so this video is going to be talking about when to clean, rebuild, or just replace a small engine carburetor. And we've got a few different carburetors to look at. We're not going to be tearing them apart on video. Pardon my raspy voice. I'm getting over the flu. It's towards the end of November when I'm filming this, so just kind of bear with me, guys. So it kind of depends on two things: condition, obviously, and also how common the carburetor is. So, like this carburetor right here, for an example, this is off of like a Predator 212, or like a Honda GX 200 or 160. Pretty much any of the Honda clone style engines, or the slant ones, even the Briggs and Kohler carburetors are basically the same thing. These are very common. So, if you take it apart and it's in decent shape, and there don't appear to be nothing too wrong with it, just try to clean it first. Now, the difference between cleaning and rebuilding one is when you rebuild it, you'll get a kit with all the parts. Like for one, the first problem you're probably going to end up having is the bowl gasket. If you get carburetor cleaner on it, sometimes they'll swell and peel off, and you won't be able to get it to seal. You get like this intake gasket here. You get that, and you probably get the jet that's inside here. Which most of the time the jet is usually the problem with small engines, unless the bowl is full of junk or got water in it. If you get that jet out, which a lot of times they get stuck, try that first. Just do a quick cleaning on it. Then if you have any problems, I suggest getting the rebuild kit, because you're probably going to need at least that bolt gasket. I mean, there's several other things that could go wrong too. Now, obviously, if there's something actually physically broke on the exterior of a carburetor, that's going to be time to replace it. Unless it is a replaceable part, like say this choke lever broke or something, you can find that anywhere pretty much. Or if you got an issue with just the fuel valve part on here, you can usually just find the parts you need for that instead of replacing the whole carburetor. And it really depends on the condition too. Like if you know something's been subject to like water, been left outside, like if you take this plug out and you just get water out of it, no fuel, chances are it's probably gone. I mean, anything can be fixed to a point, but sometimes you'll have more time or money into it, whereas you can spend like $20, $15 or $20, and just get a whole new carburetor instead of going through 5 cans of $5 a can carburetor cleaner. If you see my point on that. Also, compressed air is your friend too. You always want to blow that through the jets and stuff to get them to clear up. And also, highly recommend soaking them. I'm not going to get it out, but I have looks like a paint can. It's got a little basket that you can submerge parts in. As long as you're sure that the parts are not going to dissolve. That's another good way to save a carburetor, is to dip them in that, and that'll break up any of the sludge, and you can just clean it with water pretty much after that. Now, if you got a more rare carburetor like this is an old updraft off of probably a 50s to 60s, like a Model 8, 2.5 or 3 horsepower push motor engine. You're not going to find this unless you can lucky to find a new old stock one on eBay or something. So you can still get rebuild kits for these. So with this one, you're going to do a clean and rebuild, you're probably not going to replace something like this. So again, it depends. Sometimes you're going to have to just work with what you got. And the problem with something old like this, chances are the jet has been messed with before and it's stuck in there and stripped out. So you're either going to have to drill it out and try to rethread it and everything, or clean it the best you can with it all together. So now this is off of 5-horse Briggs. These carbon tank carburetors are bad about the diaphragm that's going out in it. And that's the main problem with these. Obviously, there's always other problems with it. I had one that would not run, and I changed the jet and adjustment screw. It ran perfect. And put the old one back in. I was thinking, well, that could not be what the problem was. Wouldn't run a bit. So with these, I actually recommend getting a kit if you got to clean them, because you're going to need that diaphragm. And if you got to take it off the tank, you're going to need the gasket that goes between it and the tank. So with these, I recommend rebuilding and cleaning. And the same thing with this carburetor here. This is all for like an 8 horsepower Briggs. This is the medium size updraft carburetor. With them, you're probably not going to be able to just clean them, because you got to take it apart. Right here, you got to split it, so you're going to need that gasket right off the bat. So you might as well just get the rebuild kit for it. But again, these are available in reproduction really cheap now, and I've had mixed opinion on those. So yeah, you might want to consider rebuilding the original one before you try one of the aftermarket ones. But if you run into an issue and you can't do nothing with it, then try one of them. And I'm going to say one other thing. If you take the bowl off and everything just kind of crumbles under it and the float's stuck in there and everything, you're going to probably have to rebuild it and possibly get a new float and needle valve and everything. It just depends on how it was treated, what it's been through, and all that good stuff. But if you had like a lawnmower engine or a tiller engine that's just been sitting for a year or two with old gas in it and don't want to fire right up, you probably just do a quick cleaning on it and probably get it going. And it'll get better once you get some fresh gas going through it. It'll kind of clean itself out, and you can honestly sometimes get by with running them on like a half a choke once you finally get it going, and that'll actually clear itself out. And just remember, flip it back, the choke back off to save your gas and everything. So, but anyway, that's just some few tips I wanted to share with you. I'm trying to make this video around 5 or 6 minutes long. Like we're coming up on 7. So yeah, I just wanted to share it with you. Questions, comments, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.